Hello, physical science students. So this is going to be the first of a daily video message that I'm going to post online to go through what I'm expecting you to do for each class period, the procedures that we're going to follow on the distance learning, and any way you may have to ask me a question or how I'm going to present any kind of live material, etc. So with that in mind, let's see what we're going to do. So first off, we have to be able to take attendance. Attendance is going to be critical. And the way I'm going to do this is that you're going to do it in your OneNote. So when you open up your OneNote and you go to the collaborative space at the top, you'll see that there's a section now in there that says Distance Learning Check-in. And what you will do on the only page that I have in there that says Daily Check-in is that you're going to go over here to the sign in column, and after the last name that was typed in there, just click after it and you're going to type in your name. OneNote will tell me that you typed it in, and it also tells me the time that you typed it in. So I'll be looking for you to have signed in during the 1B class period. You'll also see that I will be putting in this video as an archive, so if you have to go back and watch it, you can do so. And you'll see there's a couple of links. One is to the class remind, as well as the Columbia website page that you'll find this video. But again, attendance is a big deal. This will be determining whether you earn credit or not. So you do need to, very first thing in any of my videos that I give you is going to say, make sure you've gone in and signed in. How I'm going to communicate with you varies, but I'll probably be using the Remind app mostly. So if you haven't signed up for Remind, make sure you do so. The link was in an email that I sent you out on Monday. So you need to also be checking your school email pretty constantly and regularly, as not only messages from me, but other teachers, Mr. Wolstenhume, Diplock, whoever is going to be using that system. When I have to give you direct instruction, I'll be using a video conferencing called Zoom. Many of you are going to get used to that. A lot of teachers are going to use it. When we do direct instruction, probably next week, when we start the next unit on chemical bonding, I'll be sending you a link that you'll go on to, and we'll be having a live chat and presentation on here. Do note that the Columbia webpage, where all teachers have their stuff, mine is right here. It says the distance learning homepage. Also, you'll find a link section in there that has the daily video that I'm doing right now, also with a list of work that I expect you to do for the class period. So communication, it can be one of these three different ways or all three. It just kind of depends on the situation. For your work, when you're doing work, it's not going to be any different than we did in class. You'll complete your work on the OneNote page. So for example, like this one assignment here on doing the focus notes on the states of matter on solids, you completed your work on OneNote, and then you simply went, after you finished all of the focus notes, went to Summit and simply turned it in, told me you were done, and then I could go to your OneNote pages and grade it. For paper copies or hard copies, it's going to be a little bit different. So I'll explain that on the next slide. So when you're doing a paper copy, if you didn't get a paper copy in class, you're now going to have to actually print it out yourself so that you can complete it. So what you will do is you will go to the OneNote page for the assignment, and you'll see that I have a preview of the assignment. So this one is on electron energy levels, the worksheet we did. And there's a link for a PDF. And on that PDF, you'll actually have to open it so that it opens up in the PDF program, Acrobat, and you actually have to plug in your printer to your device, and then you'll have to print it off so that you can do the worksheet on paper and then you'll have to submit it to me digitally, which is how I'm going to do that. So you'll complete the paper, and then to submit it digitally, you got to photograph your work and put it back on the OneNote page, and then I'll grade it on OneNote based upon the picture that I see. So kind of in summary here, you've printed out the copy that you found on OneNote. You completed the work, okay, and the most important thing is you have to have your name on your copy. If I can't see the name on the photograph, I won't accept it. So make sure you put your name on there, and I can clearly see your name in your photograph. And once you've finished it, you're going to take a picture of this, okay? And then you're going to insert it back onto OneNote. And for the example, I put it right next to the blank copy so I can just see the two. There may be a space, I'll say put it in this box or whatever. But you have to, again, print it out, complete it, photograph it, make sure your name is on it, and then you're going to insert it onto OneNote. And then go to Summit and say I'm done, and it's on OneNote so that I can grade it. And if there's something wrong with the photograph, I'll send it back to you, say you didn't do this, and then you'll have to fix it, re-photograph it, and put the corrected copy on, and then resubmit Summit. So hopefully this will be easy, but I'm sure we'll have some issues, and if there are, you'll just simply ask me a question using the Remind app. So here's what I think you should be working on this week. This week I'm kind of using it as let's get some makeup work done and everything. So based upon what's listed in the Matter section in your OneNote, you can see that I circled a bunch of things. You should be getting all of the focus notes done on those 4 states of matter: solid, liquid, gas, and plasma. You should, if you were in class, to do this lab on the changing states of matter. That's where we melted ice and measured its temperature. You need to make sure that's submitted. Not everybody has done that. You also need to turn in that element research project that's in OneNote, where you had to get a picture of the actual element, a use for it, and then of course a reference, a website source. The worksheet on the electron energy level, some of you haven't turned that in, so now you'd have to photograph it. Now here's the sad thing: if you left that copy in your folder at school, you can't come and get it. You're going to have to print out a new copy, redo it, photograph it, and submit it again to get credit for that. If you forgot to turn in the build an atom model lab, where we use the marbles in the game to put together different atoms. If you haven't done that, turned it in to me, make sure you get that submitted. Same thing with this isotope worksheet. Some of you have got it already turned in and I graded it. Some of you still need to. And again, if you left that worksheet in your folder at school, then you're going to need to print out a new one, as I just instructed earlier, and get it turned in to me now digitally. Something new, there's a video that I put in called the periodic table. There's some focus notes that you can do on it, and that will give you an idea of how to finish up that blank periodic table assignment. And again, unfortunately, since we weren't in school that Tuesday before we started this distance learning, if you left that assignment in your folder, you're going to have to print out 2 new copies, because you have to have 2 sides, and redo it so that you can complete it. There will be a new assignment coming up when we come back next week. It's a PictoChart poster that I'll be putting into OneNote, and then I'll be talking about it here online as to what you need to complete. So I'll be looking forward to that. So right now, all of this work up here that I have listed, you need to get completed this week. You have plenty of time to get it done and get it turned in to me. Some of you will be wanting to take a power focus area assessment, which we're allowing to do remotely. And the procedure that I'm going to have before you can even ask me to take this is, 1, you have to have taken and passed the diagnostic test that is there. Also, I need to see, because Summit shows me when you request a Power Focus Area, if you've even looked at any of these resources that they give you for each of the objectives. If you haven't, then I'm going to deny access to this Power Focus Area. So when I see a request, and you're going to request it using the Remind app, when I see that, I'm going to check to see if the diagnostic was passed and if you looked at any resources that were attached. If you haven't, I will deny it, send you a message back in Remind saying, no, you haven't done this, do that first, and then re-request. Then you can take it, but here's the catch. You can only do it during our class period. So during the 1B time is the only time I'm going to approve a Power Focus Area. Your mentor cannot approve Power Focus Areas during the distance learning time, so don't ask them to do so or another teacher. It'll only be me, and it'll only be when we hold class during 1B, so you need to be prepared. If you have questions, you're going to use the Remind app to send me a message. I get that instantly. I can reply to it pretty quickly. If you send me an email, I may not see it for a little bit, and then you'd have to wait, and you may, exceed our time period. Because once the period's over, if I see a request there afterwards, I just deny it, and you have to wait until we have class again the next time. So again, this is going to be challenging, but we'll get through it. Right now, it looks like we're going to be out at least till the 20th of April, could be longer depending upon the situation nationwide, within the state, etc. So we'll just kind of have to play things by ear. That's why every class period I'll be posting one of these little videos to explain what I think you should be doing, etc. But if you have questions, you're always going to use this Remind app here to ask, and that'll be the easiest way. So good luck, let the adventure begin, and I'll be talking to you live next week sometime.